The story we've been told is simple. 6 million years ago, an asteroid struck Earth and the age of dinosaurs ended overnight. But what if that wasn't entirely true? What if in the chaos that followed the impact, some dinosaurs didn't just vanish, but found ways to survive? Recent discoveries and reevaluations of fossil records have challenged the neat ending we believed for decades. Some paleontologists argue that certain small, bird-like dinosaurs already adapted to diverse climates may have endured. Others point to isolated regions where the extinction event might have been less catastrophic, allowing pockets of species to persist. Fossils found in these remote areas show surprising continuity with pre-extinction lineages. Even stranger, certain footprints discovered in post-Capet rock layers look eerily similar to non-avian dinosaur tracks. Could this mean some species clung to life for thousands, even millions of years after the event? This idea isn't just science fiction. It's a real possibility rooted in evolving evidence. Today, we'll explore the most compelling clues and controversial theories suggesting that the age of dinosaurs might have had an unexpected epilogue. And if that's true, it changes everything we thought we knew about extinction. To understand how any dinosaur might have survived, we need to look at which species had the best chance. Large-bodied dinosaurs like Triceratops and Tyrannosaurus were most vulnerable, unable to cope with a sudden loss of food and massive environmental shifts. But smaller theropods, especially those with feathers and high metabolism, were different. These creatures, often mistaken for early birds, were already adapting to colder climates and could likely find shelter and alternative food sources. In fact, many scientists now believe that birds are the descendants of a specific group of small feathered dinosaurs that survived the Capet extinction. But what if it wasn't just birds' fossils of a dinosaur called Ornithuri, dating shortly after the extinction event, show minimal changes from their Cretaceous ancestors? This raises the possibility that some non-avian relatives slipped through the cracks of extinction. In Madagascar and New Zealand regions geographically isolated, at the time, certain fossil records show a puzzling continuity. Some ancient bones don't fit cleanly into the pre- or post-extinction timeline. Could isolated island ecosystems have served as refuges, allowing some dinosaurs to persist in secret? Evolution doesn't always erase everything overnight. Sometimes it simply hides it. In 2010, a group of researchers uncovered dinosaur-like footprints in South America dated to be well after the extinction threshold. These prints, embedded in sandstone layers, thought to be from the early Paleocene, sparked immediate controversy. Were they remnants of ancient erosion or the marks of a species that defied extinction? Though not all scientists agree, the possibility of a temporal overlap between non-avian dinosaurs and early mammals forces us to re-examine our assumptions. Additionally, in regions like Antarctica, where fossil exploration remains limited due to harsh conditions, researchers have found fragments of vertebrae and bone resembling theropods that shouldn't exist in post-extinction rock. While skeptics argue these may be misidentified or reworked fossils, others suggest we're just beginning to uncover a shadow world of survival. The idea isn't far-fetched. Other mass extinction events in Earth's history have shown that survival isn't always binary. After the Permian extinction, for example, certain lineages that were thought extinct were later found to have persisted in isolated refuges. Why should the end of the Cretaceous be any different? Perhaps it wasn't a sudden death, but a slow fade, with some dinosaurs clinging to life in remote, overlooked corners of the world. There's also the matter of legend and lore. While folklore isn't scientific evidence, some researchers believe it holds cultural memory worth examining. Indigenous groups in Africa, South America, and Southeast Asia have long shared stories of massive reptilian creatures resembling dinosaurs long after such animals were believed extinct. Some tales are eerily detailed, describing creatures with behaviors and features matching known dinosaur species. Are these myths simply imaginative tales or distorted echoes of real, albeit rare, post-extinction encounters? While hard evidence is lacking, these accounts raise intriguing questions, especially when paired with ambiguous fossil finds. In Papua New Guinea, locals have reported sightings of a creature called the ropen, described as a giant flying reptile. Though likely a misidentified bat or bird, some cryptozoologists wonder if this might hint at a surviving pterosaur or a feathered dinosaur. Again, mainstream science remains skeptical, but the pattern of persistent global legends is curious. Could a few dinosaur species have survived long enough to influence human memory? It's a provocative thought. In the absence of definitive proof, these stories invite us to keep looking and to ask whether our fossil record is as complete as we think it is. One major factor often overlooked is the fossil record's incompleteness. Fossilization is rare, requiring just the right conditions: burial mineralization and time. Most creatures that die never become fossils, and those that do are often destroyed by erosion or tectonic activity. This means that long gaps in the fossil record aren't just possible, they're expected. If a handful of dinosaurs survived in isolated regions, the chance of us finding their remains today would be incredibly slim. For example, we know remarkably little about the early Paleocene fauna in remote parts of South America, Africa, and Southeast Asia. These areas were warm, humid, and geologically active conditions that are terrible for preserving fossils. This ghost lineage problem haunts paleontology. Entire species may have existed and gone extinct without leaving a trace. Even today, new dinosaur species are discovered every few weeks, including some from unexpected time periods and locations. If that's happening now, what else have we missed? The further back we look in time, the blurrier the picture becomes. Instead of a clean extinction, perhaps what happened was a messy, drawn-out transition, one where some dinosaurs briefly survived only to eventually vanish without a fossilized goodbye. Birds are often cited as the only surviving dinosaurs, but they may not be the whole story. During the Cretaceous, a group of bird-like dinosaurs called enantiornithines thrived alongside early modern birds. These creatures had teeth, claws, and long tails, features we don't see in today's birds. Most experts believe they died out during the extinction event, yet a few fossil finds suggest some may have persisted slightly longer. Similarly, certain toothed birds like Ichthyornis share anatomical similarities with both modern birds and their reptilian ancestors. The lines are blurred. What exactly do we consider a dinosaur? Is it about anatomy, evolutionary lineage, or survival past a specific geological boundary? If some enantiornithines or other primitive avians lasted into the Paleocene, they would technically count as non-avian dinosaurs that escaped extinction. This reshapes how we interpret survival. It may not have been the mighty predators or the giant sauropods that endured, but the small, adaptable ones, those that already looked a bit like something else. Survival may have depended not on strength or size, but on subtlety and luck. And perhaps those subtleties are hiding more survivors than we realized. There's another angle to consider: marine dinosaurs and flying reptiles. While not technically dinosaurs, creatures like mosasaurs and pterosaurs shared their fate. Most of them vanished at the end of the Cretaceous, but some fossil evidence suggests otherwise. In the Netherlands, a few remains of small pterosaur-like bones have been found in layers dated after the extinction. Could these be relics of a surviving lineage? In marine environments, certain giant turtles and reptiles closely related to mosasaurs continued for millions of years after the extinction. If oceanic species could survive by adapting their diets or finding deep-sea refuges, could some coastal dinosaurs have done the same? After all, modern crocodiles and birds are both archosaurs, relatives of dinosaurs, and they survived. This points to a broader resilience in certain genetic lines. Survival wasn't about dominance, but about adaptability. And those that made it through flight burrowing or sheer resilience may have passed unnoticed by the fossil record. It's a humbling reminder that evolution doesn't always reward the largest or strongest, but often the quietest and most resourceful. Even today, scientists discover so-called Lazarus taxa, species thought extinct for millions of years that suddenly reappear. The coelacanth, a prehistoric fish believed to have died out with the dinosaurs, was found alive in 1938 off the coast of South Africa. Similar rediscoveries have occurred with amphibians, insects, and plants. If these creatures can persist undetected for so long, is it really impossible that a few dinosaur species could have done the same? The dense jungles of the Congo, the depths of the Amazon, and the remote plateaus of New Guinea are vastly unexplored. New species are still being cataloged every year. Some large animals, like the okapi, remained hidden from Western science until the 20th century. Imagine what else could be lurking in uncharted wilderness, especially creatures that know how to hide. The idea of surviving dinosaurs might sound fantastical, but when viewed through the lens of real discoveries, it becomes less absurd. The world is older, stranger, and far less explored than we like to admit, and that leaves room for possibilities we haven't yet dreamed. Public perception plays a powerful role in shaping what we believe about dinosaurs. Since childhood, we're told they're ancient creatures wiped out in a fiery apocalypse. That narrative is simple, dramatic, and satisfying. But nature rarely follows simple scripts. Science evolves, and so do the stories we tell. As paleontologists uncover more fossils and reinterpret old ones, the boundaries between extinction and survival blur. Dinosaurs didn't all disappear in one moment. Some became birds. Others may have lingered in forgotten corners of the planet. Still others might have existed in forms we don't fully understand yet. As we gain better technology like satellite imaging, AI analysis of fossil patterns, and deeper excavations, our understanding grows. The next great discovery may not come from a remote dig site, but from re-examining specimens sitting in museum drawers. For those over 40 who grew up with the classic image of dinosaurs as extinct monsters, this shift in perspective can be both thrilling and disorienting. But it also reminds us that the story of life on Earth is not just one of death, but of persistence, change, and second chances. So did some dinosaurs survive the mass extinction? The answer remains open, but the evidence is mounting in fascinating directions. Between ambiguous fossils, survival-ready traits, global legends, and gaps in the record, we're learning that extinction may not be as absolute as we thought. The line between what's lost and what remains is thinner than it appears. Some dinosaurs clearly lived on through birds, but perhaps a few others walked the Earth for years, maybe centuries, before finally fading into obscurity. For those fascinated by prehistory, this idea isn't just exciting. It's a call to keep questioning, keep digging, and keep an open mind. The past is not a fixed narrative. It's a puzzle still being assembled. And let's not forget that our scientific understanding of extinction has evolved dramatically, even within our lifetimes. Decades ago, the asteroid theory was just one idea among many. Now, it's widely accepted, but even that theory is being refined with new data, including evidence of massive volcanic activity and shifting climate conditions. As we age, we often reflect on how much the world has changed since our youth. Science is no different. What we thought we knew at 20 may look very different at 60. For many viewers over 40, this isn't just a story about dinosaurs. It's a reminder of how knowledge itself evolves, sometimes slowly, sometimes in leaps. Perhaps the real takeaway is that nature doesn't follow our timelines. Extinction, survival, adaptation. They don't fit into neat boxes or chapters. And sometimes the truth hides in places we've overlooked. A fossil misfiled in a museum drawer. a trackway buried under farmland, a story passed down for generations before anyone thought to listen. In that light, the age of dinosaurs may not have ended so cleanly after all. It might still echo in ways we're only beginning to hear.